All right. Good morning, everyone. This is my 12th year, I think, coming here to this conference, and it's gotten better by quality of investors as well as the largest miners in the world are now at this conference. For those of you who don't know about Coppernico Metals, we are an exploration company exploring a major copper-gold trend in South America. We're at year 9. We finally got our community access and drilled our first holes, and we're starting to see that our thesis that we could be extending a world-class copper-gold belt in Peru could be coming true here in the next few years as we continue to explore. As a true spirit of any good exploration company, I'll be making forward-looking statements. They will be optimistic and they'll be speculative. Our track record is important in any business investment that you make. Success can breed success, but in the case of ours, we've found a mine, we've built a mine. In the case here, I used it to go and persevere for 9 years to chase this asset called Sombrero because it does truly represent a world-class exploration opportunity. The success of Sombrero, if it does pan out for us, is a magnitude of probably 10 or 20 times what you see on this page in terms of valuation and market cap. That's what we're aiming for. We're creating a Tier 1 exploration portfolio at the turn of the commodity cycle. Sombrero is the flagship. It represents a portfolio within itself, meaning there could be 5 to 10 world-class discoveries. That's what the targets are showing us. But we're also going to expand that portfolio into the U.S. because we recognize the opportunity for significant endowment and the optionality that it can give us in a rising metals market going forward. We have not had a single safety incident in 9 years of being at this project, which we're very proud of, and we've been able to foster some very key partnerships with the local communities, which I'll touch on here in just a moment. The last 12 months, I've been very busy. We enjoyed an investment from Tech Anglo or Anglo Tech, for 9.9%, where they bought in the IPO or the listing financing. We listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange, and we were able to commit our inaugural drill program of 20 holes. We found a significant skarn. We did not find the sweet spots of the skarn. We paused drilling to get more permits and expand the permits. I'll touch on where those are at. And now we are advancing those permits. We will be drilling. We're going to aim to drill 40 holes in the next 12 months. That's falling in with our permitting expectations. And we're also going to look at adding some projects to the company this quarter before we get into drilling early next year. Our management team, its success has driven a lot of really smart people, but the project has even done more so. We have people at the board level with experience from some of the largest miners in the world. We have a Peruvian counterpart, Christian Rios, who's built an incredible Peruvian team, both socially and through permitting, to allow us to move this project forward. And myself, Tim Kingsley, and Stacey Rowe, we all have a minimum of 9 to plus years experience of working in Peru. So the good part, the thesis is this major belt called the Andal-Guayasari belt. It hosts Las Bambas and several other major mines in southern Peru. As you can see by this image on the right, the brown color is areas that were exposed, outcropping mineralization. Several mines were found. Nobody looked over to the left or the western side of the belt where there's a lot of volcanic cover. The government had age data this Miocene. We saw some erosional windows, and we sampled 800,000 hectares through Blake sampling to put together the right 53,000 hectares of opportunities in this area. This is what we first saw when we got here, which started with rock samples. It's now got tens of meters of plus 1% in channel samples, which is spectacular. It sits over top of a very big target, which I'll show you. But please pay attention to the cover and how this opportunity was preserved for decades before we were able to get a hold of it. Before I get into an exciting project in the Andes, I just want to boast a little bit about our infrastructure. You drive here on a paved road. There's arguably mine power over site, high-tensile power lines. You have access to water. You have multiple communities nearby, but not impeding any targets. And you have moderate terrain at only 3,900 meters elevation. This screams profitability. It makes your grade worth way more when you have this kind of infrastructure in the Andes. The key to this area, outside of being very, very forward thinkers and looking through that volcanic cover, has been communities. We've been able to live in the communities for 9 years, and we've been able to bring in agricultural programs called Agrodias. These are programs that we write grants. We get grants from the government, and there was a big lacking iron deficiency in this region. We brought in French cows, Australian lambs, fish farms, ways for them to cultivate their agriculture in a sustainable manner, which included an investment from the community as well. We've also provided over 100 jobs to the communities in the past 12 months. And as we get more permits and resume drilling, we expect that to increase considerably going forward. A bit about the geology. On the left, you're looking at the plan view or from a bird's eye view of a cluster of where we have these windows of outcrops in a sea of volcanic cover. But on the right, this is important because this draws direct comparison to the mines next door. There's an intrusion in pink, or an underground volcano that's mineralized, and when it interacts with the blue limestone or the yellow and brown sedimentary rocks, there's a bit of a chemical explosion where the skarn mineralization is forming, making up all the mines next door in the same package of rocks that we're exploring at ours. These two maps show Las Bambas on the right, that's the 11th largest mine in the world, and us on the left. You can see by scale they're very similar in size, the targets that we're exploring, as well as their cluster. The biggest takeaway is how much volcanic cover we have, and they don't have, which is a big reason why this opportunity was preserved. The age of the rocks of these intrusions that we're creating these is really, really important, especially when you're going to the kind of scale of the top 20 mines in the world or that caliber. All of these are Eocene on these targets, or the samples that we've taken on our targets, but they're also Eocene at Las Bambas, Tintaya, and Tacubaya, and several of those other mines next door. So the same rocks, the same age of mineralization, and the same style of grade and formation of mineralization that we see next door. This is the Cascabamba target area. This is where we've done most of our drilling, or all of our drilling so far. In the white dashed line, it's our polygon. The reddish color is identifying where the perceived intrusions are, and the bluish color is the limestone. We're looking to drill across those contacts. We've realized up by Chumpi that we're vectoring past that dashed line. We have not hit the contact yet, and it looks better and better, but we're going to wait till we get the new permit to go and drill that area. We've also realized down in Corrales, in the western side of Corrales, that we're seeing a lot of prospective areas to go target there as well. There is historical drilling here. There was a discovery, a lot of 0.5% on surface and in drill holes at Furasso. That's going to be the next place we drill, which I'll get into in here in just a moment. We use magnetic and electrical currents to try and guess what's beneath the surface. There's a lot of magnetite, a magnetic rock associated with the skarn. In the image on the right, you can see the abundance of the magnetic signature. And in the image on the left, you can see the chargeability. This is putting an electrical current into the ground to see how long the charge lasts, indicating if sulfides are present, which are known to hold considerable mineralization as well. You don't have to be a geologist to understand that NEOC is the bullseye on the page, and it's where we got our recent channel sampling that we just announced last week. These are all of the channel samples we took. We had some limited areas that we could sample. You'll notice that they range from about 0.6 through 3% or just under 3% copper. The average grade to be well above 1%. I'll remind you that the average head grade of a copper mine in the world is about 0.5%. So this is incredibly high grade, as the traditional skarns are the ones that have the richest grade in the world. That's the appeal here. Grade is definitely king. We took these samples with a rock saw, and we were cutting along the image on the left. We were cutting perpendicular to the copper mineralization we saw outcropping on surface. You're looking at a lot of skarn, outcropping skarn mineralization here, and we observed both oxide as well as sulfide in these channel samples that we took, which give us a lot of confidence that the mineralization is homogenized. This is the trenches in a bit of a cartoon form. They're showing you the strength of the copper in these channel samples. We do not yet know the true direction of the geometry of the mineralization, and all of these channel samples can be extended, so they can keep going. We don't know how far these would go. The lowest grade that we sampled was 0.1 copper, which is incredibly high, and a legend if you look at other copper exploration projects on surface, and all the way up through 3%. So that begs the question to what could lie beneath. The image on the top right is a plan view, or you're looking at a bird's eye view of the chargeability target. You can see that we've only explored a small part of it. Those 4 charge signals actually coalesce like a cone. But if you look at the image on the lower left, you can see that we have at least 700 meters of depth extent to the plus 20 millivolt red and purple chargeability signature. So chargeability reflects generally or indicates the presence of sulfides that can be pyrite. We think because of the extensive mineralization on surface and the tens of meters of 1% on surface, that the chance that we could have a potential world-class copper discovery with really good grade, it's a very, very, very good target on our property. Since I was here last year, in addition to NEOC, we have identified Antipampa and Tipicancha. Antipampa sits in the base of the Ferrabamba contact with the Mara Formation. That's identical to Furasso, which I'm about to show you what those historical drill holes look like there. So a very prospective target. We are going to get to sampling Furasso this quarter, Antipampa this quarter. And Tipicancha is about a 3-kilometer long epithermal porphyry target. This is at the base of an epithermal system that we've identified through mapping and identifying the abundance of pyrite, which indicates sulfides being present. At the base of an epithermal system, you generally get into copper and base metals, and that's where we're seeing 30 to 40 meters and 50 meters of 0.4 to 0.6 copper in some channel samples there. Very, very big target, Everything we're exploring carries a 1 to 3 kilometer scale target, and there's a lot more refining in the trend. This is a very important slide. It kind of drew us in. We discovered this after we were there, meaning we were the first to assay this historical core for copper. In red, you can see there's a drill hole of about 116 meters of 0.4 copper, 0.2 gold. That averages about 0.6 copper gold. It sits underneath 230 meters of 0.5% copper. And those blue lines are the next holes that we're going to be drilling just following it down dip. So this is a brownfields target. It's an expanding discovery target. And if you look at it from plan view, you can see the historical holes in black. You can see our grid in white. We're going to be drilling from the left to the right side of the page there. And we're going to be expanding the discovery. It's open north and south, and it will also help us unlock some of the original drilling we did and give us some more about the complexities of the skarn system that we're identifying. To visualize what we're looking for, about 7 kilometers north, Mother Nature's carved a nice canyon. You see a tremendous skarn body, intrusion on the left, limestone on the right. If you remember back to that stratigraphy column I showed you, this already exists on the property in 3D. It goes down 400 meters, a very thin layer of volcanic cover, but that's how big the opportunity is, and that's what we're looking to drill in several of our targets. We've gone from a having drill permits or getting drill permits story to an expanding permit story. We are going from 49 drill pads, so holes, and 38 drill pads to 200 in an area that's going to cover the entire Coscobamba target area, Furaso, as well as Tipicancha. We're also very close on additional partnerships within the community. We found some new outcropping discoveries that are not yet on this map. We're just staking them as we speak. And we've also had a lot of really positive reaction of getting back into Cello down south, where there's a high sulfidation, epithermal system that we found, and some incredible grades of silver and copper existing already. So we're very target rich. It's a big system. All of the community social work we've done is finally starting to pay dividends. With great projects, you attract great investors, and we have some of the best shareholders in the world. We thank everyone for their patience. This has been a 9-year effort, but the project does keep getting better, and the scale is bigger, and it's starting to work out more and more. We have about $5 million, just under $5 million cash in the treasury. We do not need money until July of next year, and we have $4.5 million in warrants that are close to being in the money and that will easily fund us for our next phase of drilling. So final slide here, why Coppernico today? First off, it's one of a kind as a major exploration target. We are finally advancing permits into the areas that we've vectored towards, and some of the most obvious mineralization occurs. Getting a new asset, a couple assets in the US, it gives us a lot of optionality. All of my companies have been multi-asset, and that opportunity is quite significant, and we want to be a little greedy before the metals market really takes off. We did not plan this timing of this metal market, it planned us. But we did plan to go after one of the world's biggest copper gold trends, and that's what we're doing here. And the next 18 months, we'll have the next 40 to 50 holes that we'll get to drill and reveal those opportunities. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Yeah, we have time for one question.
All right.
One very quick question from me. What's the next presenter talking about Peru as well? What's the political situation in Peru? What's happening in
Peru has an election next year. It's gotten progressively better. We've been there since 2015. Permits are getting better. Social is improving. There's been a lot of really good things happening in Peru. The trend is positive. It's going and coinciding with the metal prices improving, and they're very smart, and they acknowledge that a large portion of their GDP is reflected from mining, but they've been making efforts to advance that. We don't anticipate drama in the election. There has been in previous elections. It has never faltered us, and we've seen a lot of volatility in South American elections, but we expect to be on time, and if not early, with our permits going forward.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ivan.
Thank you.